What's going on, guys? Buster6 here, back sharing a video, and today, here to give you guys my NFL Week 16 predictions. We are almost at January. We are literally 1 week away from Christmas. What is happening, dude? Like, seriously, this season has just fucking zoomed on by. Like, there was no week where it felt like it dragged at all. Like, realistically, there really wasn't any games that really felt like it was just getting dragged through the mud. But yeah, week 16 or week 15 just happened, and we pretty much know a good majority of what the playoff proceeding is going to look like, because we got some teams that basically have won a playoff spot and some that are trying to find their way into a playoff spot, and some shocking eliminations, on one in particular that I think you guys are probably going to know before you even clicked on the video. But yeah, interesting stretch of games we got here. Most of these are kind of just divisional matchups because we're almost at week 18. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into these predictions. Starting off with tonight's game, the Thursday night game on Amazon Prime. We've got an NFC West matchup between the Los Angeles Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams were able to knock off the Detroit Lions by putting up a 40 bomb against them in a game that I expected was a shootout, all things considered. So, yeah, Matt Stafford balled out as he usually does. I think this might actually be playing in LA today. No, it's actually a home game. Okay, I thought the first time these two teams met up, I thought it was a home game for Seattle, but I was wrong, unfortunately. But yeah, the Rams are absolutely rolling right now. Again, Matt Stafford's looking really damn good. Puka Nacua is looking solid. Unfortunately, Devontae Adams did get banged up a little bit in the game, which does kind of suck because, you know, at his age and those hamstrings, yeah, they don't really go well together. But yeah, despite an early pick early on in the game, Stafford was efficient, nearly 400 yards, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the running game's really damn good too. I like Blake Corum. I do like Kyren Williams. So yeah, right now the Rams, they're on a roll right now, and they look like a Super Bowl contender. That's just how it is. Then they're taking on the Seattle Seahawks, who had a very weird game against the Colts where they just couldn't get anything going on offense. Like, for some reason, they just could not score a touchdown at all. Like, the literal player of the game was Jason Myers, because he was scoring, you know, field goals like he was fucking Chris Boswell, for God's sake. But yeah, Darnold played a pretty solid game, all things considered, nearly 300 yards, but again, no touchdowns, which is really weird. And JSN's been kind of a bit of a weird drop as of lately. So offensive player of the year is going to be up in the air, in all honesty. So yeah, I'm kind of curious what's going to be going on with the Seahawks, because they're a good team on paper, but I have a feeling they're going to have a weird collapse when at the worst possible moment. And the last time these teams did play against each other, it was an ugly fucking game, especially for Seattle, where Darnold threw 4 picks, but yet they almost won the game. So there's that. But I mean, it is being played in Seattle, and both these teams are very competitive. I'm going to give it to the Rams, though, only because they looked more impressive on Sunday. But then again, they were going up against the depleted Lions defense. And with the Seahawks, the Colts defense is actually pretty good. But again, it's just very bizarre that they couldn't really score at all except for field goals. So while it is being played at home, I am going to give it to the Rams, though. But this should be a fun game. This should be a pretty fun back and forth affair, in all honesty. Let's just hope that Sam Darnold and JSN can really start getting their groove back together. And hell, if they win this game, who knows? Maybe they might be able to take over the West and possibly get the number 1 seed. So yeah, like the number 1 seeding right now, currently it belongs to LA. But, dude, like, you've got Seattle, you got the Niners, you got the Bears coming up. It's a pretty, like, neck-and-neck or affair for all of those teams. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Rams, but if the Seahawks win, I wouldn't be opposed to it either. Following that, we have an NFC East matchup between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. The Eagles even when they win, it pisses me off because how the fuck do you look so flat against a good team and you play like a Super Bowl contender against a mediocre to bad team? It literally makes no fucking sense for Philly because they went in there and dropped the 30 bomb against the Raiders, and where Kenny Pickett didn't even have 65 yards, for Christ's sake. Like, good God. Like, that says more so about the Raiders more than Philly, but Jesus Christ, dude. Like, Jalen Hurts didn't even have to do anything in the game. So I guess there's that, but God, even when Philly wins, they just find a way to piss me off because again, you have the most talented offense and the most talented roster in the entire fucking league, and you can't figure it out. Good God, it makes no fucking sense. Meanwhile, Washington, they won a meaningless game against the Giants, which basically messed up their draft cap, or yeah, their spot in the draft. Who really cares? Washington. I mean, I hate saying it because they do have talent, but ever since Jane Daniels went out with injury, this team has not recovered since, and it sucks. It really, really, really does suck. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Philly for this one. This really shouldn't be that close of a game, but knowing how Philadelphia's been playing this season, I wouldn't be shocked that this is a closer game than it should be, but Philly has us all basically well and done. It shouldn't be that much hard of a contest. And then the final Saturday game, I forgot to mention these are both Saturday games. This one has a lot more meaning now than it did the previous meeting between these two teams. We've got an NFC North matchup between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. The Packers, not only was that a pretty heartbreaking loss that you suffered against the Denver Broncos, there was a lot of consequences, and the football gods wanted blood. Because Emmanuel Wilson, I believe, got banged up. Zach Tom is hurt. Christian Watson nearly died on the field. Josh Jacobs got banged up. A lot of the guys got hurt in the game. But none of it is compared to Micah Parsons tearing his ACL on a non-contact play while trying to tackle Bo Nix. Yeah. Losing, tearing an ACL is one thing. But tearing it that late in the season is another because, yeah, you're done. You're done for the season. And there's no point of trying to put him back on the field because he's just going to fuck himself even more. I mean, look at what happened with Phillip Rivers, for God's sake. And I'll get to him here later. But, yeah, Green Bay, they're in shambles right now, man. They really are because that defense got sauced by Bo Nix, and it was just not a pretty game at all for Green Bay, which is kind of a shame because they were leading at the end of the first half, but that second half, they just looked all out of sorts. Jordan Love was throwing picks. His receivers really weren't doing anything with the ball. They just couldn't really do anything. So, yeah, big win for Denver, but a terrible loss there for the Packers. But that means well for Chicago fans because the Bears right now got a pretty easy victory over the Cleveland Browns. There was really not much of a contest. Caleb Williams has some nice throws. Again, my thing with Williams, he just needs to be more consistent. And while he was going up against a really damn good defense, which is basically a one-man show led by Myles Garrett in the Cleveland Browns, he just needs to be a little more concise with his throws, and he just needs to learn how to figure out how to read more defenses. And this team should be good to go if you ask me. But yeah, the Bears, they're on a roll right now. Not much more needs to be said. Now, it is being played in Soldier Field, and the Packers have owned the Bears in Soldier Field. However, this Bears team, I think, is a little more grittier, and I think they're a little more tougher. And considering how pretty banged up the Packers are right now, I could see Chicago taking the victory here. So I'm actually going to go with an upset, if you will. I'm going to go with the Bears, only because I just don't know how to feel about that defense with most of them guys out and how that offense is going to play for Green Bay. But you also got to take into consideration that the Bears are kind of a wonky team. Even though they're a good team this year, they are a little bit wonky again. I'm still a little bit questionable about Caleb. And, I'm curious how the defense is really going to play out because the last time these two teams played, they looked really damn good against the Packers, even though the first half was a little blah. They looked really damn good, but then that pick happened at the end of the game. But I think this one's going to go to Chicago, and if they win, they basically won the North, which hasn't happened since 2018. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears for this one, but you never know. You never know with Green Bay, man. But I'm going to go with Chicago for this one. So that was the Saturday games. Let's get into the Sunday games. The first one was a game that was actually supposed to be Sunday Night Football, but thankfully got flexed because of all the shit that happened afterwards. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Miami Dolphins. Oh, boy. On paper, this doesn't look bad, but everything that's been happening between these two teams, good God, this is going to be a fucking mid-off, if you ask me, because the Bengals, they just laid down and died last week against the Ravens. Like, this team just gave up last week, and honestly, I don't blame them per se, because this season has been dreadful for the Bengals, and there are rumors again swirling around that Joe Burrow might not be there for so long. Trey Hendrickson just played his last season as a Bengal. He's probably going to be moving on. This team is just in fucking shambles right now, dude. It really is, and honestly, I don't blame them for quitting after getting blown out by Baltimore last week. So there's that. Meanwhile, Miami, they also did not look good on Monday night because they just shit the bed against the Steelers. And it's just not getting any prettier for Miami because, like, they had a terrible start to the season. They were on a hot streak, and now they look bad again because Tua looked fucking awful against Pittsburgh. And keep in mind, this Pittsburgh's team was without T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt got fucking Tyrone Taylor into the lung, for God's sake. And he still couldn't do shit. Like, his stats don't look that bad from these stat charts, but that was mainly in garbage time when the game was already over. And, like, the defense couldn't do anything. And Pittsburgh had a good game plan. Just isolate Jalen Waddle, or, Devon Achane, and you will be enforced, Tua to throw, and you'll be good. And then it gets worse, because Tua has been benched behind Zach Wilson. Yes, that Zach Wilson, good old MILF Hunter himself. And the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, probably for the remainder of the season, is Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers, who has started, maybe 3 times this whole season? Who looked like a Heisman Trophy winner and then he just shit the bed at the last minute? Yeah, that Quinn Ewers. And that big contract you signed for Tua has not looked good because he had 1 fucking season. And look, I like Tua as a player, but my God, he's just gotten worse as time has gone on. I don't know if it's the concussions or the hip issues or I don't know, but his stock has dropped significantly in the past couple of seasons, and he just looks like a shell of his former self. So, while I'm very down on the Dolphins right now, I still think they're going to get the victory here. I don't know why, I just think they are. The Bengals are down so bad right now that it's not even funny, and they'll probably get a win just to spike themselves, but yeah, Miami, goddamn, Miami's bad this year, but since it's worse, I don't know how that's possible, so, excuse me. So, I'll go with the Dolphins, but if the Bengals win, who really cares? Who really cares? Alright, next one, I'm probably going to go through this one pretty easily. We've got the Minnesota Vikings versus the New Jersey Giants. The Vikings with a big win over the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And the game that was a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. Because usually I question why is this the Sunday night game. And it usually turns out to be pretty entertaining. Like Denver-Washington was actually pretty entertaining a few weeks ago. But yeah, the Vikings with a big win over the Cowboys. And it takes a lot to make J.J. McCarthy look passable. Like, how the fuck do you make Jack Doherty's look passable? Like, it almost makes no sense whatsoever. But, yeah, they were able to dunk all over the Cowboys defense. And I will give credit to the Vikings defense. They were able to stop like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, which I thought was pretty cool. I am questionable about Justin Jefferson. Like, he has not been having a good season all this year. And granted, yeah, his QB play has been pretty fucking bad for the most part. Like, McCarthy hasn't been playing good. Carson Wentz was battling injury. And they had the legendary Max Brosmer. Yeah, that's all I really need to say about him. So yeah, McCarthy, he looked solid. Yeah, he did throw a pick, but he made it up for what, 2 to 3 touchdowns and 250 yards. I mean, you could take it or leave it. It's the best game he's played so far this season, which is saying a whole hell of a lot. Oh my god, dude, my neck's fucking killing me. Meanwhile, the Giants, they lost the Tank Bowl against the Commanders. And oh boy, we're going to have a Tank Bowl next week, folks, because next week we've got the Raiders versus the Giants. Yay! Fucking kill me. But yeah, the Giants right now, I mean, I will say this, they are an entertainingly bad team, I guess you could say. So I guess that counts for something, I guess. So, I mean, again, their record isn't as terrible as the team is looking, because I even said it before, at best this looks like a 6-win team, but unfortunately they're not, but that's mainly because their defense is fucking terrible, but that's besides the point. But yeah, the Vikings, I think, are going to get the victory here, unless J.J. McCarthy just shits his pants for presumably no reason, and the Giants fuck over the tank. So I guess there's that. But yeah, the Vikings should win this game. No harm, no foul. Following that, we have a bit of an interesting game here. We've got the LA Chargers versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Chargers, with the huge win over the Kansas City Chiefs, not only beating them and sweeping them, which is the first time, I think, since... Oh, God. It's been a while since they last swept the Chiefs, but it's been a while since they last swept them. But also, they eliminated them from the playoffs. The first time in over a decade the Chiefs are not in the playoffs this season, which, if memory serves me correctly, I believe I read statistics where this is the first time since 1998, so nearly 3 decades since this has happened. There's been no playoffs where there was no Peyton Manning, no Tom Brady, and no Patrick Mahomes. That's fucking insane if you think about it. That's absolutely insane. But yeah, the Chargers are on a big roll right now. Again, it was an ugly game, but I wasn't really shocked by that. There was a nice touchdown throw from Herbert, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, the Chargers right now, their defense looks really damn good. They got 2 picks in the game. The thing with the Chargers is that Herbert is battling injury right now. That hand's still not very great. And also that O-line's still pretty fucking rough. But, I mean, they're persevering through it. They currently have a wild card spot right now. So, yeah, they're doing good for what they're given. So, I'll say that about the Chargers. Meanwhile, Dallas, I just talked about them with the Vikings. They just looked flat against the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't even know what the hell happened. Like, I don't know what's going on with the offense. The defense, it explains for itself. And that Micah Parsons trade's looking pretty fucking bad on paper, because not only did Micah Parsons get hurt, but also they got Kenny Clark, who's been okay as of right now. But then they also got Quentin Williams from the Jets, and now he's hurt. So, presumably nobody's winning their fucking trades in the outset of things. The only one that's really going to be benefiting anything from it might be the Jets if they land on their draft picks, which I don't trust them to do shit. But, yeah, Dallas right now, I don't know what's going on, but what we were fearing for George Pickens is starting to come to light, because he has been fucking lazy as of lately, because I don't know what's going on with him, but he has been very fucking lazy, and I just do not understand what is going on with him. So, while it is being played at home, and I could see Dallas somewhat trying to get a victory here, I'm going to pick the Chargers to win this game. I just think that defense is going to clamp down on that offense. So, I mean, take that for what you will. And while the Chargers offense is not really all that great, they're kind of middle of the road if you ask me, as long as Amarian Hampton is going to be doing pretty well, and Gadsden's getting some catches, and maybe Ladd McConkey can probably get some yardage in, I think the Chargers should be able to win this game here and basically eliminate the Cowboys from the playoffs here. All right. Oh, boy. We got ourselves... Hold on, boys. Rev up the engines, boys. We have ourselves a Tank Bowl. We've got the New Jersey Jets versus the New Orleans Saints. Do you want to see two shitty teams fight off in a battle to the death? We got the Tank Bowl! In all seriousness and the stupidity out of the way, yeah, the Jets versus the Saints. Oh, fucking great. Yes, we are getting Brady Cook versus Tyler Shuck. Put that shit in my veins, please. The Jets just got clapped by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh my god, they got their asses kicked by Duval last week. And yeah, the game was not even close, even in the first half, because, good god, like, Brady Cook had like 2 decent throws, but looked like shit in the other ones, because, yeah, no, he's not ready for the NFL right now. The Jets are clearly going for a quarterback, but... yeah, they shipped off all their other pieces, and it's just not looking good for them right now. I mean, yeah, you got draft capital out of it, but at what cost? At what cost did it give you? And the Saints right now, I mean, it looks like Tyler Shuck might be the guy. The problem is he's nearly fucking 80 years old, but hey, he's the future QB, I guess. I don't really know. It reminds me of when Brandon Weeden was like nearly a 30-year-old rookie when he went to the Browns. So there's that. And Shuck's what, like 26 or something like that? So, yeah, while they got a meaningless win over the Panthers, I mean, you swept the division rival, so I guess that counts for something. This game's not going to be good, but I'm going to go with the Saints only because they have something going for them. And, hey, you got to beat who you got to beat in front of you. So, yeah, it doesn't look good for them in terms of the draft pick. But, yeah, the Jets are just fucking terrible. We keep a buck, we ass. That's basically all I gotta say. So yeah, Jets are gonna win this game. Following that, a bit of an interesting game here. We've got the Buffalo Bills versus the Cleveland Browns. The Bills coming off with a huge win over the New England Patriots, where they looked dire in that first half. Like, this has been the Bills like almost every fucking game this season, where they just looked like complete dog shit in the first half and then turn it up in the second because they were getting ran over by TreVeyon Henderson and Drake May in that first half. Like, New England had, what, like 230 yards on the ground? It was ridiculous. And they overcame it because, well, Josh Allen had to bail out Sean McDermott yet again. Gee, where have I seen that before? But in all seriousness, the Bills had a massive comeback, and the Patriots could do fucking nothing in that second half. So, yeah, I mean, Josh Allen's probably getting tired of bailing these fuckers out, but, I mean, hey, I guess they won the game. That's all that matters. And if things are going to go their way, they might take the division. They might even get the number 1 seed. Depends on how Denver's going to play, but they probably won't get the number 1 seed. But, yeah, the Bills have a lot of momentum going for them right now. So, yeah. That's all I got to say. And meanwhile, the Browns, they got their ass kicked. Hey, Shedeur fanboys, how are you going to explain that performance that Shedeur had? Oh, well, he went up against a good defense. Okay. He was playing like shit before the interceptions even happened. What are you talking about? So, yeah, I don't know. They suck. That's all that that's all that matters. Myles Garrett's gonna set the he's gonna set the single sack record, and it's gonna mean fucking nothing. God, the Browns are so bad this year. So yeah, the Bills should win this game, but my thing with Buffalo is that can they maintain Myles Garrett? That's the only thing that really kind of concerns me. And will they be able to stop Quinshon Judkins? Because, I mean, well, Quinshon's not like TreVeyon Henderson. He's still really damn good, so, there's that. But yeah, the Bills should win this game. No harm, no foul. That's all I gotta really say. Oh boy, this game just somehow went from bad to worse. Next up, we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Tennessee Titans. The Chiefs, well, I basically said all I said when I talked about the Chargers. They're eliminated from the playoffs. Mahomes tore his ACL at the end of the game, and your season's over. Yeah, that's your season right there. And while some Chiefs fans are pretty down on it, me personally, they kind of needed a season like this because they were masking so many flaws that they had last season, and even the season before that too, where they won the Super Bowl against the Niners the second time. Like, there was a lot of flaws that team had, and they kind of needed a season like this where they just needed to regroup and refocus and all that stuff. So you got Gardner Minshew starting in 2025. Minshew Mania, baby, let's do it. Meanwhile, they're taking on the Titans, who made it somewhat competitive against the Niners. I'll give them that. It was probably Cam Ward's best game, and it was against the Niners, so I guess that counts for something. We got Fat Guy TD, where Jeffrey Simmons got a touchdown, so I guess that's cool. The Titans are terrible. They need a head coach. They need everything, because if not, Cam Ward's going to fucking die behind there. So, while I could honestly see the Titans getting an upset victory, I'm still going to go with the Chiefs, only because they got something of a defense and somewhat of an O-line. But it all comes down really for Gardner Minshew, so I guess there's that. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. But if the Titans win, honestly, I would just kind of laugh because I think it would be funny. But I'm going with the Chiefs. Oh, boy. Following that, who wants to win this division should be this game. We've got an NFC South matchup. Everyone's favorite division, the NFC South. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Carolina Panthers, a.k.a. who wants to lose more? Because, Jesus Christ, both these teams laid a fucking egg last week. Oh, it was laughable, dude. It was so laughable. The Bucs choked against the Falcons. How do you choke against Atlanta, who are perennial chokers? You make Raheem Morris look like Dan Reeves. A team that had 19 accepted penalties, and they won. You make Kyle Pitts look like a Hall of Famer out there, for God's sake. Oh my God, Tampa was terrible on Thursday. And while Mike Evans came back, which was all well and good, and he did have a good game, it was not enough. Baker did not look good out. He looked pretty rough out there. And Todd Bowles is throwing everyone under the bus. And the offense is pissed, and I don't blame them. You make Kyle Pitts look like Tony Gonzalez out there, for God's sake. Oh, the FC South's a fucking clown show, dude. And it got even worse, in my opinion, where the Carolina Panthers, who just recently beat the LA Rams, who are basically a Super Bowl team. They beat them, and then they lose to a bottom feeder in the Saints. How the fuck? Dude, I love this season. This season's great. Yeah, all the parody in the world in the NFL. Uncontrolled chaos, and I am all here for it. Nobody wants to win this division. Nobody wants to win this division. I'll give it to Tampa Bay because Carolina, I just don't trust them. They don't scare me at all. I mean, they got good players, but I just don't think Bryce Young's the guy personally. And while Tampa Bay didn't look good on Thursday, at least they got Mike Evans back. I guess that counts for something. But yeah, no, this division's dog shit. It's been dog shit. It's been dog shit ever since Brady got there, really. Because it's literally just Brady. It was literally Brady and nobody else. Gee, it was like the AFC East never left. But Yeah, no, this is not going to be a good game, so I'm going to go with the Bucks. A game that should be good though. It looks good on paper. We've got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Denver Broncos. The Jags just put belt to ass against the Jets in Trevor Lawrence's best game he's had in his NFL career. Like, that was the Trevor Lawrence we have been waiting for. And thank you, Liam Cohen, for that. Duval. But no, in all seriousness, the Jags just dunked their nuts all over the Jets. And Trevor Lawrence had 5 touchdowns, 6 in total. Travis Etienne had himself a hell of a day. BTJ got some pretty good stuff in there as well. And the Jags, if they can be more consistent like this, I can see them probably make it a bit of a push there in the playoffs. It just mainly depends on, again, the consistency that they have. Because if they play more games like they did against the Jets, then they could be a bit of a problem going into the playoffs. However, they're going up against arguably the best defense in the league in the Denver Broncos, where that was a game that Bo Nix needed, because I'm still not a believer, but Bo would occasionally have some really good games, and he did have a really damn good game against the Packers, because he was elusive in the pocket. He was making some pretty solid throws, and I will say that defense was starting to clamp on Jordan Love, especially in that second half. So yeah, they looked really damn good right now. They currently have the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, which I think is the first time. I think it's the first time since 2013, I believe, or 2015. Can't fully remember, but I know whichever one. I can't fully remember. I think it may have been. I think it may have been 2013. In actuality, but yeah. The Broncos right now, they look good. At least their defense does. I'm still a little bit questionable about their offense per se. And the Jags defense is kind of underrated right now. They have a sneaky good defense right now. So this could be a pretty fun back and forth affair. Sorry, Duval fans. I got to go with Denver for this one. I just think they got some momentum going for them right now. But I can see them dropping a game to Jacksonville. I can see it happening. But I am going to go with the Horsies for this one. But I'm curious to see how Trevor Lawrence is going to do. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm going to go with Denver. But I want the Jags to kind of surprise me with how they perform. Following that, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Detroit Lions. The Steelers had themselves a hell of a game on Monday against the Miami Dolphins in the cold, in one of Aaron Rodgers' better games that he's had this season, where some people might be overlooking the fact that Rodgers has actually been playing pretty solid. All things considered, there's just like 3 or 4 games he's had where he actually looked pretty fucking bad. But then again, he's got, he's not 100%. He's in his 40s. He's not really playing his best, but he's still got something left in the tank, and he had himself a hell of a game against that demolished Miami defense. And again, this defense is without TJ Watt, and they're still doing really, really, really damn good. So I'm kind of curious how they're going to do, considering how the Lions' run game was on Sunday against the Rams. I'm starting to be a little bit questionable about Detroit right now, because some Detroit fans are kind of screaming, screaming hellfire and all that stuff. I just look at it like this. It's like, guys, look. Your defense is fucking wrecked. I mean, they're wrecked by injuries. They don't have Kirby Joseph. Brian Branch is out for the season. And even on the offensive side, they got Penei Sewell's been banged up lately. Laporta's out with a back injury. So, yeah, you guys are missing some very, very, very key pieces right now. And they just got their asses kicked by the Rams. And while, yeah, there was a bullshit call where Colby Parkinson clearly did not get the touchdown at all. Didn't really matter in the outset of things. And it's just the better team won. That's all that really mattered in the outset. It's just that the better team won. Now, with this game here, I believe the last time these two teams played was in 2021, and that's where they tied. which is fucking hilarious. But yeah, I'm curious to see how Aaron Rodgers is going to play against his old foe in Detroit. But since this is being played in Ford Field, I'm going to give Detroit the victory here only because I don't know. I just have a feeling that Detroit is going to try to get into the playoffs this year because they have dropped to, I think, like a 40%. And they have to have a lot of shit go their way. Like, the best possible chance of them getting in is if somehow Green Bay just completely just poops the bed and just completely fizzles out at the very end. And maybe Detroit can possibly try to get back into the playoff proceeding. So, you have that going for it, but I don't know. Like, with the Lions, if they can have the run game be consistent, I think they should be okay. But I'm kind of curious how the Steelers are going to be, considering that, their defense is, the defense and all that stuff. So, I'm going with Detroit, but might be questioning myself there a little bit. Next up, oh boy, I'm not going to go too far with this one. We got the Falcons and Cardinals. Does anyone fucking care? No. I'm not going to go too far with this one. The Falcons won despite the fact they had a shit ton of penalties. Kirk Cousins was, I guess it looked like he was prime Kirk Cousins for some weird reason, which he would do like every 2 to 3 games in every season. But yeah, the Falcons right now, they had a meaningless win over the Buccaneers. But yeah, Raheem Morris is getting fired. He's 100% getting fired after this season. And meanwhile, the Cardinals, well, I got done listening to the Tub Frog documentary, and yeah, no, this team is having yet another Arizona season where nothing really happened. Kyler Murray's probably going to be, gone after this season. Probably going after another quarterback, and nothing's really going to change. I think Jonathan Gaines is going to get fired as well. This team has something, but the problem is that it's Arizona and nobody gives a shit. So, that's all I gotta say. I guess Atlanta will win, but if they lose, I wouldn't be shocked because it's the Falcons. But, yeah, I'll go with Atlanta because why not? And then we've got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Houston Texans. The Raiders got dunked on by the Eagles. They're a terrible team. No harm, no foul. They fucking suck. They're going for a quarterback probably in the draft. Yeah, they're going through their 5th rebuild in the span of 3 years. Thanks, Josh McDaniels, you douche. But anyways, yeah, no, the Raiders are terrible. No harm, no foul. I blame Tom Brady because he partly owns the thing. But anyways, that's besides the point. Meanwhile, the Texans, good God, they just beat the shit out of the Cardinals last week. Oh my God. That game wasn't even close by the first quarter, for God's sake. It literally ended within 5 minutes of the first half. So, yeah, that's what we need to see out of the Texans offense. Like, C.J. Stroud needs to play more games like that. And again, I keep saying, if Houston had like a top 3 defense or a top 3 offense with that defense, they'd be the best team in the league right now, in my opinion. So, yeah, this shouldn't be a close game. Their defense is going to clamp all over what remains of the Raiders. I think Geno Smith might be starting this game, which might be elder abuse if you think about it. But, yeah, I'm going with the Texans. No harm, no foul. Moving on. Then we have a Sunday night game that's a little interesting and has a bit of an underrated rivalry, if you ask me. We've got the New England Patriots versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Patriots, well, I talked about them when I talked about the Bills. They blew that game in that second half because it was all well and good for Pats fans on Twitter in that first half. And my God, the amount of shit talking that had to be endured on Twitter was astounding. And then that second half hit, and I didn't hear a fucking peep from Pats fans on Twitter because, good God. Oh my God, they just could not do anything at all. Besides a Trey Hendrickson touchdown, which was cool, they just couldn't do anything. Like, May did not look good. He looked pretty bad out there. And they just couldn't stop Josh Allen. They couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop, anything. They couldn't stop anything. I don't know what the hell happened, but the defense and the offense just stalled out at the worst possible moment. Meanwhile, the Ravens, they had a shutout victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And Lamar didn't really do anything. He only threw the ball like 12 times, and they still won the game. So, I guess there's that. But, yeah, the Pats and Ravens had a bit of an underrated rivalry, if you ask me, especially when Flacco was still the quarterback, and that's when him and Brady were going at each other and all that stuff. And, like the wild card or the playoff games that they had. And basically, if you want to talk about, like, in terms of, like, playoff proceedings, the Ravens basically owe the Patriots. I think the Patriots only beat them, like, twice, and I think the Ravens beat them, like, 3 times, I think. No. No, I think it's, like, tied, I think, in terms of, like, playoff proceedings. But anyways, that's a story for a different day. If the Pats would have won on Sunday, I would have probably given it to New England. Because the Ravens are still kind of questionable as of right now. Like, they still aren't really great, per se. They're still a little wonky. So, yeah, I don't really know how to feel about that, per se. So, I think this is going to be a good game, though. You know what? Call me nuts. I'm going to give it to the Ravens. I don't know. I just have a feeling that maybe the Pats are going to have a weird fall off. And that's going to lead to probably the Bills potentially taking the AFC East. And Stella Dog right here wanted to give her opinions on the Ravens and the Patriots. Hey, who do you think's winning? Huh? Who do you think's going to win? Okay. Understandable. Well, that's understandable. She's gonna take the Patriots because she thinks that, she just doesn't really trust the Ravens' defense, and Lamar hasn't been playing well, which is understandable. But I'm gonna go with the upset victory. I'm gonna go with the Ravens here. This should be a fun game, though. I do expect a pretty fun game to happen. Then, for the last game of Week 16, we have the Monday night game. We've got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Indianapolis Colts. The Niners, they basically just made short work of the Tennessee Titans. Brock Purdy's been playing really well lately. George Kittle is always fun to watch. Jawan Jennings, Ricky Parasol, CMC, all the fun stuff that you expect from the 49ers. And I gotta say this, the Niners are having a quietly really good season. But everyone kind of forgets to talk about them because they are also in the same division as the Seahawks and the Rams. But also, they've been beaten to shit, especially when it comes to the injuries. Because we all thought they were dead after the Tampa game when Fred Warner's leg just went kaput. But no, they've been actually really damn good. And again, they're without Nick Bosa and the aforementioned Fred Warner on defense. And the younger guys are really starting to step up their game as well. And it's always nice to see. Meanwhile, the Colts, Old Man Rivers came back into the game here, folks, and he actually played a respectable game against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, yes, you can clearly see there was a lot of rust that he had. He didn't really throw the ball a whole, far at all. It was mainly just dumping it off to some guys. But he threw a touchdown pass, which I thought was cool, and he only got sacked one time, I think, which is pretty impressive considering how really damn good that Seahawks defense is. So, while Indy is in a free fall ever since Daniel Jones got hurt, having the broken fibula and tearing his Achilles, I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but I kind of feel bad for Indy fans because it's like, dude, you guys had that great stretch at the beginning, and then it just went all downhill from there. So, as much as you hate to see it, at least you're having one of your better seasons, even though it is ending in a pretty tragic way. And considering that the stretch of games that they have coming up too was pretty fucking brutal as well. So, I'm going to go with the Niners for this one here. I just think that the Niners are just a better team on paper. I think Phillip Rivers is going to make it somewhat of a game, but I'm going to go with the Niners for this one. No harm, no foul. So that, folks, concludes my Week 16 predictions with Stella Dog here. And, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Who do you think is going to win these games? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap the big subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you in the next video. Peace out.